Welcome everyone to the Ultimate Masterclass. If you are preparing for the Cambridge AS and A-Level Accounting 9706 exams, you already know that the preparation of financial statements for sole traders is an absolute cornerstone topic. It is the fundamental bedrock of accounting. But here is the harsh reality that we need to confront right now. The vast majority of students, even the really smart ones, lose incredibly easy, totally avoidable marks on this specific area. And today, we are going to change that narrative completely. I am going to walk you through exactly what the Cambridge examiners are looking for. We're going to dissect the core concepts, break down the methodology step by step, and reveal the ultimate pitfalls so that you can walk into that exam room with absolute, unshakable confidence. We are treating this like a strategic operation. So, let's kick things off with a massive, high-stakes question. Why do students consistently lose easy marks on sole trader statements? What is it about this topic that trips up even the most diligent straight-A candidates? Well, the syllabus heavily emphasizes systematic analysis, but time and time again, we see students struggle unnecessarily when it comes to interpreting complex texts and extracting data from those massive stimulus materials provided in a high-tariff 9 to 15 mark exam question. They know their debits, they know their credits, but they hit a massive brick wall when the context gets complicated, and it almost always comes down to the command words. There is a galaxy of difference between the command word analyze and the command word evaluate. If the question asks you to evaluate a sole trader's liquidity, and you just explain what liquidity is, you are hard capped at the lowest marking band. Analyze means tearing the data apart to see how it works. Evaluate means you have to pass judgment on it. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that this isn't just my personal theory. This is a direct, urgent warning pulled straight from the Cambridge Principal Examiner reports. Quote, "Candidates consistently confuse key terminology. Always define terms before using them in extended responses." End quote. This is our starting point for securing top-tier marks. The examiners are literally handing us the blueprint here. If you want to elevate your score to that top bracket, you have to be surgically precise. You cannot just throw accounting jargon around like accruals or prudence concept and hope it sticks. You need to demonstrate to the examiner that you understand exactly what those terms mean within the highly specific, unique context of the business scenario you are solving. To make absolutely sure we hit every single one of those crucial points today, here is our tactical playbook. First, we'll dive into the examiner's perspective. Second, we'll establish the core accounting principles. Third, we'll break down the technical methodology. Fourth, we'll master critical analysis. And finally, we will expose the top examiner warnings. By the end of this session, you'll have a complete architectural framework for these questions. Let's get right into it. Section 1. The examiner's perspective. Getting inside the head of the person grading your paper is the ultimate key to conquering Cambridge Accounting 9706. The core message screaming out from the grading room is loud and clear. Stop losing easy marks. To really understand this, I want you to imagine two of my typical students. Let's call them Alex and Sam. Now, Alex is highly technical. Alex has memorized every single formula, every layout, and excels at the raw facts. Sam, on the other hand, is a creative thinker, incredibly strong at building arguments, but sometimes struggles with structural precision. When they sit down with a complex past paper, Alex immediately tries to force the data into a rigid, memorized template. But Sam stops and asks, wait, what is the actual business reality here? The syllabus explicitly rewards Sam's approach. Top-performing students exhibit a connected, conceptual understanding that can be transferred to completely unfamiliar contexts. We are talking about assessment objectives here. AO1 is your basic knowledge. Alex is great at AO1, but the top marks are in AO2, application, and AO3, analysis and evaluation. You have to adapt your theoretical architecture on the fly to whatever unique puzzle the examiners throw at you. Okay, let's dive into Section 2, Core Accounting Principles. This is the theoretical foundation of a truly top-band, flawless answer. The conceptual framework for preparing these statements relies heavily on evidence-based reasoning. But the absolutely critical point I need you to internalize right now is this. Cross-topic connections equal higher marks. Let's go back to our students Alex and Sam. They're debating an essay layout for a sole trader whose profits are mysteriously dropping. Alex argues, we just need to calculate the exact gross profit margin, list the figures, and we get the marks. But Sam counters, no, Alex, we need to look at the massive increase in bad debts from the previous year. We have to link this to the prudence concept and how their credit control policy is failing. Sam is absolutely right. Your theoretical architecture rests on mastering causal relationships. The principal examiner reports consistently highlight that candidates who reference cross-topic connections, showing how a sole trader's inventory valuation method directly impacts their declared profit and liquidity, achieve significantly higher scores. It proves you understand the entire accounting ecosystem, not just one isolated chapter.
Section 3, the technical methodology. This is where we shift from theory to a highly strategic, step-by-step procedural breakdown of your exam execution.
Before we tackle the absolute hardest part of the problem, I need to pause our session for a quick, crucial mid-video mission. If you are serious about crushing your Cambridge exams, you need consistent strategy. I want you to subscribe to the channel Ace the Exams IGCSE O and A levels at the handle @acetheexam_IGCSE right now. Enable all notifications, hit that bell so you never miss our weekly Cambridge breakthrough strategies. All right, let's get back into it. Look at this definition, the method mark strategy. This is a marking framework where points are awarded for demonstrating the correct analytical process, even if your final calculation is a total disaster. Imagine Alex and Sam are drafting a response together. Alex messes up a complex cost of sales calculation early on, gets frustrated, crosses the whole page out, and gives up. That is a fatal error. I always tell my students, do not panic over one arithmetic slip. If you apply the relevant principles, write out the formula, and execute your analysis so the examiner can visually trace your logical steps, they will literally reward your systematic processing. You must capture these easy process points by showing you're working clearly.
So how do we actually apply this method mark strategy under intense time pressure? It is a standardized 6-step sequence. Let's rewrite Alex's flawed, crossed-out section out loud right now using this framework. Step 1, deconstruct the question. We isolate the command word. It's evaluate. Step 2, extract the data. We pull the revenue and inventory figures from the stimulus text, being careful to note any adjustments for depreciation. Step 3, select the framework. We know we need a statement of profit or loss structure. Step 4, execute with notation. This is where you write down revenue minus cost of sales before you even plug in the numbers. Step 5, verify your results. Does a 90% gross profit margin make sense for a tiny retail shop? Probably not. Check your math. Step 6, present correctly. Use absolute professional terminology. Following this exact flow, paragraph by paragraph, rather than just rushing to a final number, actively builds the exact professional skills that examiners reward with maximum method marks. Section 4, mastering critical analysis. This is where we unlock the highest order assessment objectives that push an answer from average to truly outstanding.
I want to run a quick, immersive visual workshop with you right now. Imagine I've just put a massive, highly complex financial graph on the screen showing a sole trader's cash flow plummeting over 3 years. We have a 60-second countdown clock ticking away. The difference in marking bands here comes down to one core contrast, the descriptive framework versus the evaluative framework. Lower-level answers look at that graph and write a purely descriptive response. They say the cash flow went down in year 2 and down again in year 3. That's descriptive. You get maybe 1 mark. The higher-order assessment objectives demand an evaluative framework. This demands an evaluation of alternatives, a deep comparison of why this is happening, and making justified recommendations. It's the deconstruct, solve, and evaluate method in action. Let's move to scene 2 of our workshop. Let's spot the flaw in a poorly written student answer. Imagine reading this sentence. The sole trader should buy the new machinery because it will make more products. What are the 3 catastrophic errors there? First, they failed to question assumptions. Evaluative thinking requires you to ask, is there actually demand for more products? Second, they failed to consider different perspectives. What would the banks think about taking on massive debt to buy that machine? Third, and worst of all, they didn't justify the decision with evidence. Top-scoring candidates don't just state an opinion, they use systematic analysis. They say, given the current acid test ratio of 0.6 to 1, purchasing the machinery for $50,000 in cash would severely threaten the firm's short-term survival. Do you see the difference? That is how you secure an A-star. Before we transition to the ultimate pitfalls, I want to inject a quick, highly effective memory hack into your study routine. The Cambridge syllabus is dense, and confusing terminology is a major trap under exam stress. To lock in these complex concepts, you need a mental shortcut. Create your own mnemonic using the first letters of key terms regarding the preparation of these financial statements. For example, for building an evaluative paragraph, use CEI, context, evidence, impact. What's the context of the business? What's the numerical evidence? What's the impact on the sole trader's future? A simple, personalized acronym like that will save you massive amounts of valuable time and drastically reduce your cognitive load when the clock is ticking. Section 5, Top Examiner Warnings. We are going straight to the source to expose the traps set by the examiners themselves. Across thousands of graded papers, there are exactly 3 critical, recurring mistakes that examiners have flagged year after year. Let's detail these 3 massive roadblocks. Mistake number 1, forgetting proper format. Students will calculate the right numbers but throw them randomly on the page, without standard accounting headings, immediately bleeding easy marks. Mistake number 2, failing to check presentation. Alex used to do this all the time, forgetting dollar signs, mixing up thousands and single units, or drawing messy, confusing lines. Mistake number 3, and this is the one Sam had to overcome, answers lacking specific context. Writing a beautiful, generic essay about the benefits of a partnership that completely ignores the fact that the specific sole trader in the prompt wants to maintain absolute control of their family business. Losing marks on formatting or generic context are completely avoidable errors if you rigidly follow our structured playbook. Now, let's synthesize this entire masterclass into 3 core, unforgettable pillars so you can dominate your next paper. First, the 3-step question scan. Before you calculate anything, box the command word, underline the constraints, and star the required syllabus links. Second, the paragraph balance formula. Every time you write, give the context, present the mathematical evidence, and critically evaluate the impact. Finally, the last 5 minutes review checklist. Never finish early. Use the final 5 minutes to strictly check your headings, verify your units, and guarantee that your final evaluative sentence directly answers the prompt. Applying correct formats, using precise terminology, and evaluating consistently, you are entirely in control of your final grade. I am going to leave you with a final provocative challenge right now. How will you actively apply the method mark strategy to squeeze every single possible point out of your next past paper? Don't just watch this and passively move on. Crushing Cambridge exams requires aggressive, consistent strategy. So here's what you need to do right now. Hit that subscribe button for the channel Ace the Exams IGCSE O and A levels. That's at acetheexam_IGCSE. Turn on the notification bell so you catch all our future elite exam hacks. And most importantly, go down to the comments right now and declare your target grade. Write it out, commit to it. Then, pull up a past paper. Find a complex, unfamiliar scenario and rigorously apply the 6-step deconstruct, solve, and evaluate methodology. Keep hunting for those cross-topic connections. Put in the work, trust the strategy, and I will see you in the next masterclass. Keep studying hard.